Welcome to Leo's Super Bowl in Amesbury, Massachusetts. We're back for second round action from the Kids Pro Series doubles tournament, which is, if you saw the first round matches, you saw some exciting action, and we've got a couple more excellent matchups here with some bowlers who've really put up some good scores in qualifying, and we're going to have two matches getting underway right here with on lanes 9 and 10. The team of Aaron Halbedel and Chuck Desrosiers will be taking on Shannon Scribner and Tina Ward. And on the other pair, Josh Daley and Jonathan McDonald are facing Aaron Souza Jr. and TJ Dipietro. And after a 9-drop, Josh Daley gets a tough break on that piece of wood. It was way up top, and he tried to push it back, didn't quite get the 9-pin. Shannon Scribner with a nice shot for a spare to begin. Shannon and Aaron Halbedel are regulars on the Candlepin New Generation show, as are Josh and Aaron. I'm sure you probably are familiar with them. And there is a strike from Josh Daley. That's the type of ball that your teammates will say, nice fill, because he had a single pin that he didn't convert in the previous box. But nonetheless, it's a strike in the second box for Josh Daley. Aaron Souza with a spare to stay with him. Shannon Scribner with 6 on the spare that she recorded in the first box. And Aaron Halbedel with a 5-7 split, despite having thrown a nice first ball. And there is a strike by Aaron Souza Jr. Aaron bowls out of Central Park Lanes in East Boston, as does his father, Aaron Souza, and they're both excellent bowlers. Central Park is sort of a hotbed of old school bowling. They have a lot of tournaments there. Always a fun place to go, but you better bring your game, because they've got some very good bowlers that bowl out of there, and it's not an easy house to score in. There is another 9-drop by Josh. He'll be trying to put spare on strike. No, he goes by the 6-pin, so he'll be open in the third frame. Meanwhile, Shannon Scribner had another spare. She'll be trying to add to their lead. She has 32 plus a ball through the third to Aaron Halbedel's 24. Shannon drops 7 on the spare, so she has 39 through 3. Aaron Souza with a nice bid on that 4-drop, trying to cover everything, but the 7-pin wouldn't go. He'll have a 10 box, and Josh will have an 8 as they finish up their first half and turn things over to their partners, Jonathan McDonald and TJ Dipietro. And there's a nice shot for a 10 by Aaron Halbedel. He's got 34 after 4. Shannon Scribner with, what does she have? 48 in the fourth. And there is a splash by Jonathan McDonald. He leaves a 7-10 split, though. He's going to see if he can do something with that. TJ Dipietro was the high qualifier in this event with a 428 series in the 3-game qualifying round. He has had an excellent year this year in the, you may have seen him in some of the earlier Pro Series coverage. He's really upped his game a little bit this year. Certainly been bowling well. Both guys begin with 9s. So now you'll get a look at Tina Ward on lane 10 and Chuck Desrosiers over on lane 9, just out of the picture. Chuck, as you can see, qualified with 367. Tina had 381. The way it works in this tournament is the top 8 pros and the top 8 kids are paired together. So number 1 is paired with number 1. And then number 9 through 24, it's a random draw. So that sort of gives you an incentive to try and finish as high as you can in qualifying, because you get a higher seeded partner. So TJ Dipietro is paired with Aaron Souza, who was the leading junior qualifier with a 389. Aaron certainly doesn't bowl like a junior. He's really very, very competitive with anyone at this point. Wow, and that ball, TJ punches out the half Worcester, and then the ball comes back to take out the head pin, which is really unusual. And Jonathan McDonald stuffs one in the pocket. Here's another look at the punch out half Worcester. The ball comes back out of the pit, and it just comes in behind the head pin and takes it down and goes over in the gutter. So he's got turns into a 3-drop with a piece of wood. And meanwhile, as I say, Jonathan McDonald really smashed the 1-3 pocket, but got nothing to look at. He's got the 410. Jonathan has also been a standout in the Pro Series and also the Friday Night Pro League the past couple of years or so. Really bowling well, one of the top guys. And Tina Ward, as I'm sure you know, has really come into her own on the women's side of the circuit, both in the women's Pro Series events and also in the June mixed team tournament. She's had some outstanding results. I think I have a video of a 91 half that she had in an event a year or two ago. She is bowling out of bogey lanes in East Brookfield, as is Aaron Halbedel. And that goes for a strike by Tina Ward in the 3rd box. Very light hit in the 1-3 pocket, but it goes for a strike. Take a look at it in slow motion in just a moment. So she and her partner Shannon Scribner are out to a lead in the early going against Aaron and Chuck. Chuck with an 8 box. 21 through the 3rd. Here's another look at the strike. The head pin goes to the sidewall, and I think that's the 6 pin coming off the right sidewall to plow into the 5, and the 8 tries to stand up, but it's not going to be able to, and that is a strike for Tina Ward in the 3rd box. That gives her 27 plus the strike fill through 3. TJ Dipietro looking at the 2-7, and tough break there. He hit the 2 pin a little bit left of center, so you would think that would have gone, especially with that piece of wood behind it, but it did not go. So he'll be open. Jonathan McDonald looking at the 4 horseman right side, and he misses the head pin, so he's still got the head pin to work on here. And that is a 4 fill on the strike for Tina Ward. That's kind of unfortunate. Tough break there. She punched out the half Worcester left and then the half Worcester right. Chuck Desrosiers has a difficult split with some wood, and that goes. And from Chuck's reaction, it doesn't look like that's how he played it, although it certainly went out of there in a hurry. And that is a 4 box for Tina Ward, 4 on the strike and 4 in the box. Here's another look at the spare by Chuck. Hits it very high on this wood, and it comes off the wall and just wipes out the entire configuration of pins there. So Chuck has 31 with a ball working through 4 to 35 for Tina Ward. And as you can see, the other match is anybody's game. It's just a 2-pin lead for Josh Daley and Jonathan McDonald halfway through the match as the junior partners come back up. Aaron Souza Jr. on the left lane, lane 11, and Josh Daley on lane 12. And Josh is going to need an out here as he just punched out the half Worcester left and then went through the bunny hole, as Bob Foraker used to say. But that's a pretty good out for a 7-box. While Aaron Souza comes out of it with a spare, converting a 2-pinner. Chuck Desrosiers with a 7 on that spare. So that is a pretty big turnaround there with the 4-box from Tina Ward with the spare by Chuck against it. But Tina bounces right back with a spare. That's the sign of a veteran, that you just can't let a bad box get into your head. You just have to bounce right back in the next box as if it never happened, and that's what she did there. Really great shot there on that split. So Tina has a spare to sit on. She has 45 through the 5th. And Tina and Shannon, as you can see, they have, despite the ups and downs of this half, they lead by 15, plus the fill that Tina will have when she comes back up after her partner finishes. So Shannon Scribner and Aaron Halbedel will come back up to finish their portion of the match. Aaron has 41 through 5, and Shannon has 57. And I think Josh Daley is going to have nightmares about single pins because he's having no trouble getting a lot of pins with the first ball, but those singles have proven elusive so far. Some days are like that. Aaron Halbedel. You just saw his sister Becky put up a nice game in that first round match that went right down to the wire with her partner Sean Baker. Aaron with a 6 drop, and he's got a spare. Very nice. He runs down that 1, 3, 9, 10 with no useful wood. So that will cut into the lead as Shannon Scribner will be open in the 6th box. She will have that ball went in the gutter, so that's a 9-box for Shannon. She has 66. And here's another look at the spare. As you can see, that 3-pin almost goes by the 9-pin without touching it, but it just clips it enough to knock it over. So that is a spare for Aaron in the 6th box. And it would be very helpful to him and his partner if he could make as another spare. Meanwhile, Josh Daley with a clutch spare in the 10th. He does pound that single pin in the 10th box. So that's another thing you have to be able to do, is shake off a few misses and make them when you need them. And that's what he did right there in the 10th box. So he'll have 1 ball remaining. Aaron Souza with a 120 game. Josh Daley will have 99 with a ball. As you have another look at the spare by Aaron Halbedel, his 2nd consecutive conversion of a 6-drop, he goes to the outside of the 4 horsemen. That's going to give him 67 with a ball. And Josh Daley finishes up with a 105 game over there. We'll give you a look at the scoreboard before TJ and Jonathan McDonald come up to finish. And there is 3 spares in a row for Aaron Halbedel. In this other match, it's still just right up in the air. Aaron Souza Jr. and TJ Dipietro are holding on to a 2-pin lead as TJ and Jonathan McDonald come up for their last 5. So these matches, it seems like every one of them has been right down to the wire, and these are no exception. Jonathan McDonald with a nice ball, very solid in the 1-2 pocket, dropping 9. He's got the 9 pin with just all by itself. It's the only pin on the deck, so there shouldn't be any problem here. That's what we tell ourselves after, and sure enough, it's no problem. He hits it right in the face. And TJ Dipietro almost makes that really tough spread eagle. I think it was a spread eagle plus the 9 pin, I think, was up there. He works it out for a 10 box. Aaron with a nice pocket hit this time. He hits the pocket this time and drops 6. But this is a very tough leave. 5, 7, 8, 9. So after 3 spares in a row, he'll be open in the 9th. Jonathan McDonald with 9 on the spare, leaving a 4 pin. See what he can do with this. Second consecutive spare, and he's got it right all over it again. And TJ, and look at that. I think the ball went right in front of that 7 pin twice, and TJ really hit that wood pretty solid, and just wasn't able to catch a break with the ball coming in at all. That is a strike for Aaron Halbedel in the 10th, and that is a very timely shot. Let's take a look at this. High, flush, 1-3 pocket, boom, and the 8 pin tries to stand up, but it's not going to stay. That is 4 marks in 5 boxes for Aaron Halbedel. So he will have the fill ball in the 10th, 2 fill balls, that is. He has 107 plus the fill. Meanwhile, Shannon Scribner with a nice ball on the head pin, but a little bit too solid, and she leaves a big 5. And a nice bid there. She used that wood to get the ball went over and hit the wood to take out the 6-10, but the 2 pin went around the 4-7. So nice bid, but she will be open in the 10th box, and she'll finish with a 101 game. So Aaron Halbedel will have 2 balls remaining to fill that strike, finish the match, and then they'll turn it over to Chuck and Tina. And that's a nice ball by Aaron. Taking a shot at throwing a double strike. He's got 5 and 7 remaining. And they're gone. Great shot by Aaron. Here's another look at it. He cuts this 5 pin over into the 7, almost in front of it, really. And converts that. So that's really essentially 5 marks out of 6 in the second half. That's a phenomenal half. That's a 76 half after the 41 in the first half. So Aaron has a 117 game. And Aaron and Chuck now are leading by 17 minus the spare fill. TJ Dipietro has what Don Gillis used to call a clipped wing spread eagle. 2, 3, 4, 6. Jonathan McDonald looking at 3 and 7, and he just goes by the 3, so he's still got those 2 pins remaining. And TJ he's had a couple of those where he's just been very close and just can't get the last pin. He almost converted that clip wing spread eagle off the wall. Got the 3 pin to come off the wall and take the 6 and the 2. And so it'll be a 10 box. So Jonathan McDonald and Aaron Souza lead by 6 pins, as you can see on the graphic, as they come into the 10th frame, meaning that TJ is obviously going to need a mark here. So if he had just been able to carry that last pin in the previous box, they'd be essentially tied. And that's going to go for a strike for Jonathan McDonald. That's probably going to put it away. Unless, well, with the 6-pin lead, it's unlikely that, but let's see what TJ can do with this 4-10 split. And that goes, so they're mathematically not out of it. But in all likelihood, Jonathan McDonald and Josh Daley will move on to the next round. Tina Ward drops 9, leaving just the 4-pin. Very high hit, but she was able to break down the split. And that'll do it for Jonathan McDonald. That'll give them enough pins to secure the win. Tina Ward with the spare in the 7th box. That'll be a 9 for Chuck Desrosiers. He has 62 to 71 plus a ball for Tina. So Tina has a chance to cut into the lead again. And you can see the final score in the match on the right pair of lanes. A 7-pin victory for Josh Daley and Jonathan McDonald. 227 to 220 over Aaron Souza Jr. and TJ Dipietro. So they will move on to the next round, to the 3rd round. And here in this other match, you can see it's really tight. Chuck Desrosiers and Aaron Halbedel lead by 7, but Tina Ward has that spare to fill in the 7th. So she can take the lead, actually, if with a big fill. Chuck drops 7. He's got the 1-7-10 high-low jack with some wood. Tina drops 6, so that makes it a 1-pin game right now for Aaron and Chuck through 7 frames. And there's a spare by Chuck. Nice shot on that 1-7-10. That might have gone without the wood, but in any case, that really took no time at all to go down. And that's a clutch spare for Chuck in the 8th. When the lead was almost gone, Tina works it out for a 10. Here's another look at the spare by Chuck. You can see almost that might well have taken it without the wood. So Chuck will have, it'll be a 1-pin lead plus whatever he's able to put on the spare. And he kind of bounces the ball, but gets a nice 1-3 pocket hit, drops 8. He's got the 4-7 piece of wood there at an angle. There's not a lot of target to shoot at. He's going to have to go pretty fine, and he does. Nice shot there. There was a very small target there to hit, and he was able to thread the needle. So that's going to give them a 9-pin lead, and he's got the spare to add to that, depending on exactly what Tina is able to put up here. She has 3 pins remaining. She's got 2, so that makes it a 10-pin lead plus the spare fill for Chuck. So they are in pretty good shape unless Tina can throw a double in the 10th. Chuck adds 6. And Tina is not going to throw a double at any rate. She drops 3. So Chuck will be open in the 10th, but that, if my math is right, I think that was enough to win right there. And so in any case, Tina makes a nice try, but doesn't quite able to get the spare. So Chuck Desrosiers and Aaron Halbedel are going to win this match, and they will move on to the next round. So we'll show you the scoreboard in just a moment. And there it is. Aaron and Chuck with 220 to defeat Shannon Scribner and Tina Ward with 206. So that was the 2nd round, and we will be back with a couple of third round matches a little later this weekend.